Good morning, everyone. Today is July 3rd, and my husband has a 4-day weekend, and so we decided to grill out today instead of tomorrow for the 4th of July because the weather forecast says that there's going to be rain. So we decided to do it today and just make a day of it. Here I am just taking and seasoning one of my iron skillets because I had to clean it, and I am getting it ready to put to the side. I'm still in my pajamas here. When I first got up this morning, I had my mind set on things that I had to do, and I wanted to get a couple things done before I got dressed and started my day. And cleaning my stove and my countertop and stuff like that was what I wanted to do at the beginning, to just kind of, whenever I got started on cooking, it was fairly clean. It's not perfect, but it's clean enough for me to get started with everything, because I have a whole lot of cooking to get done in today's video, or I'm going to be doing a lot of cooking while my husband grills. Yesterday I cooked some cinnamon rolls. They're not homemade, they're just out of a can, but I decided to heat them up so that me and my husband could have cinnamon rolls and coffee for breakfast this morning. And what I pulled off the top was, we don't have a microwave, and so I took some napkins and wetted them down and put them on top of the cinnamon rolls and then stuck them in the oven so that it would keep them moist and not dry them out while they were heating up. And it actually worked. And so it's the first time I've ever done it, but it actually worked, and they were delicious. Now that I've got that done, I am going to start wiping everything down, because I have a tendency to be lazy and not do this step at night after dinner. And so I am doing it now, cleaning my stove off and eventually getting to my counters so that I can start cooking for the day. Here I'm putting some eggs on the stove to make boiled eggs, because I will be making potato salad for the first time. I don't eat potato salad. I've never tried potato salad. Mustard and pickles are my kryptonite, and both of those are in potato salad. So I don't eat potato salad. But my husband likes potato salad and he wanted some, and so my pastor's wife gave me a recipe to go by, and I am attempting to make potato salad for my husband. Here I'm just kind of clearing out my old vegetables and bringing in new. My pastor's wife gave us a bag of squash and tomatoes. and here I'm putting them away, and that way I can kind of clear up some of my counter. Don't mind my hair. My goal was to get it out of my face and to get it put up, because I tend to shed a lot and I didn't want hairy food, so I just kind of plopped it up on top and went on with my day, and it did the job. I'm playing with some new features on my app that I edit my videos, so this is kind of a little zoom in. I bought some wheat flour because I am attempting to make bread from scratch, and I am trying to go with a healthier option, and so this is me just putting it away. Well, actually, it was me eating the bag, trying to figure out if it was all-purpose or if it was self-rising. I still don't know, so I guess I'll just add the stuff to make it self-rise in case it's not. But, yeah. Eliana got a bit fussy, and so we had to take a break from doing things and make a bottle. Here, her doctor prescribed her probiotics for her stomach, and then whenever she came home from St. Louis from NICU, they had her on a multivitamin, and so those are the things that have to go in her bottle once a day, every morning. And yeah, we're just kind of going on about our morning. This is kind of typical for us. Alright, now that we have fed the baby, it is time to start in on the potatoes for the potato salad. And so I am going to peel, I don't even remember how many potatoes I peeled. I peeled a few and made sure the peels went into my compost bowl. That way it can go over into my compost bin for the garden. In this shot, you'll see over in the far left the mason jar that kind of looks gross. I decided to try my first sourdough starter, and the second day that I went to put the flour and water in, I forgot to remove half of the starter before I fed my starter, and it ended up spewing over, and I had a mess to clean up. And so I cleaned up my mess and put a paper plate underneath it to catch it if it does it again. But yeah, today, which I am editing and recording, doing the voiceover on the, what is today, the 5th, I have officially got a loaf of bread in for fermenting, and I've got chocolate chip cookies fermenting, and yeah, the rest of it got put in the fridge so that it's not on my counter anymore. I did not like it on my counter. Usually when we decide to grill out, which is not very often, we usually go all out and have different kinds of meats. I myself prefer chicken. Chicken on the grill is my favorite type of meat. My husband likes hamburgers and hot dogs and brats and things like that. And so we make sure we have a variety and we cook enough. That way we eat on it all week. And that way the only thing that we have to cook is when we have to heat up the leftovers and if we need a side to go with it. But yeah, and that ham that was on top, that's for baked beans. Again, I have never made baked beans. I've always bought the can, and so I told my husband that I would attempt to make baked beans, and I wanted bacon, but I dug through my freezer the night before and couldn't find any, so I pulled out this ham and it did the trick. It did what it was supposed to do. I won't be using all of this in the recipe, but it is still partially frozen, and so I went ahead and had to cook it all to be able to get what I needed. But yeah, that's what that ham is. I'm not sure what the name brand is. I personally don't like it for like beans and stuff like that, for me, because the ham is really salty. But I mean, it's got a good flavor. I don't personally eat this ham very often, but my husband loves it. He loves this kind of ham, so. I didn't mean to, but I cut off part of that conversation. Whenever Eliana was born, Eliana looked like me mostly and very little of Doug. And as she has gotten older, we are almost at 5 months now, everybody that meets her says that she's starting to look like her daddy. And we were talking about how he loved the fact that she's starting to look like him instead of me, and that's kind of where this was going. My potatoes are finally done, and I'm just draining all of the excess liquid off of them. And the recipe that my pastor's wife told me to do, she told me to take a potato masher to them, but they were done enough that I could just take that spoon that I had and kind of mush them a little bit. Some people like to blend their potatoes so that they're creamy, and some people like chunky. My husband doesn't have a preference as far as I know, and so I just left them partially chunky. And she told me to add butter and salt and pepper, and that's what this white container here is. That's salt. I use pink Himalayan salt for my cooking mostly now because I've been told that it's healthier. I don't know if it actually is or not. Who knows? But other things that went into the potato salad is mustard, mayonnaise, and sweet pickle relish. Oh, and I can't forget the eggs. I ended up putting 6 boiled eggs into this recipe, and all I did was quarter them like that and then cut them 3 times across, like that right there. And I ended up putting 6 of those in. She didn't tell me how much of everything to put in, so I kind of guessed. I'm going to say I put about a half a cup of mayonnaise and 3 to 4 tablespoons of mustard. And let's see how much I put of the relish. I'm not sure. I think I put about 2 to 3 tablespoons of relish in these as well. And then all I did was stir it all in, like all together like this, and then I sat it in the fridge to chill and to kind of marinate while I got the rest of everything cooking. Here I am just preparing my slaw for coleslaw. I use a bag of slaw mix and I put salt and pepper. Now you can either put salt and pepper on the cabbage itself, or you can put salt and pepper in the mixture that you put on top, whichever, it doesn't matter. And then I use about 3/4 to a cup of mayonnaise or Miracle Whip. I prefer mayonnaise, but my husband likes Miracle Whip, so that's what I'm using here. And I do a splash of vinegar, about 2 tablespoons maybe. And I do a splash of milk to kind of help everything be liquidy and incorporate things better. And I put about a tablespoon or so of sugar to kind of help with the acidity. And that is all that I use for my slaw mix. I put it on top and kind of stir it in, and then I set it in the fridge to help marinate and be ready for when the food's done grilling. So one thing that I wish I would have done is prepared my food the night before. I wasn't really able to because this is Monday when I'm making this food, and the day before was Sunday, and we had morning and night service, so I wasn't really able to prepare the night before. But I wish I would have prepared like this weekend, maybe on Saturday or something, and prepared things a little bit better, because the food would have tasted better if it had been chilled in the refrigerator for a little bit longer. Not that it wasn't good, but like potato salad and slaw and things like that always tastes better the next day if you have time to marinate it. So that's one thing that I wish I would have done. Another thing with this video is I made homemade baked beans, and I did not video me making them because I have never made baked beans before, and I was following a recipe on my phone, and my phone is what I use to record. So I did not record making beans this time, but once I get a little bit more comfortable with the recipe and I feel okay to alter and do things the way my family likes, then I will record the recipe if that is something y'all are interested in. But yeah, we just had a nice Monday evening of grilled food and just kind of hanging out together. Here I'm just kind of taking and getting the meat ready for the grill. It's fixing to be time to make hamburgers and stuff. Doug already took the chicken out to be cooked because it takes the longest, and so I am pulling out the hamburger meat. I always buy my hamburger meat in tubes. From where I buy my groceries, it's always cheaper to buy it in tubes, and so I bought a 5-pound tube, and I am going to make 10 burgers. I don't really have any method to my madness, and I didn't even know how many burgers I was going to make until the very last minute. But I went ahead and made 10 burgers, and then put the rest of the meat in the freezer to go for another meal later, and it won't be this week, maybe next week. And yeah. But anyways, we had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. We grilled out and made yummy food and just got to hang out together and just relax. Relaxing was the key, and that's something we got to do. I hope that you had a wonderful 4th of July weekend as well. maybe you got to see some lights. I know that we did. We got to go see some fireworks with Jody. And yeah, here in just a little while, I am going to take a break and have some baby snuggles, and you'll get to see some baby smiles. I changed her outfit into a 4th of July outfit, so everything was appropriate for the holidays. I didn't have a bow to match, but that's okay. She was still adorable.